Hello, good morning friends. Welcome to this geography class. And as we have completed three chapters of geography, today we shall proceed to a new chapter, that is agriculture. I am sure you are all familiar with the term agriculture. In simple terms, agriculture means farming. Quite many of you have got farms at home, whether it is paddy cultivation or kiwi cultivation or whatever is cultivated on the earth, it is all come under agriculture. So without agriculture we cannot think about living, we cannot think about surviving. The entire population of the world, they are surviving on the food that is cultivated on this earth. We need food. However rich we may be, we need food, and somebody has to cultivate, somebody has to produce that food, then only we can eat, otherwise the whole world will go hungry and all will suffer. So that speaks about the importance of agriculture. We think that doing agriculture work is something low quality and we like office jobs. Very few people are willing to undertake cultivation works or agriculture works. That shows our wrong understanding, and we are not realizing the reality, how important these agriculture products are, and it is our surviving depending on that. If there is nobody is cultivating food, how can we survive? So that becomes a threat for our existence. So let us in this lesson see how important the agriculture is and what are the types of agricultures, how people from place to place vary in production of different agriculture products, and how can we improve the agriculture production. All that let us see in this lesson. So you can take your textbooks, lesson number 4, page number 14, 40. So here a small information is given there, GK. What is the meaning of agriculture? The word origin, how the word agriculture originated, and how does it originated? How does it originate? It originated from two Latin words. One is ager, another one is culture. So ager means, what is the meaning ager? Ager means soil, or it is also called ageri sometimes. Ager or ageri means soil. Then culture means you are already the meaning culture. That means the cultivation. So agriculture means the cultivation on the soil. That is the meaning. Cultivation on the soil or in the soil. That's the meaning. Okay, let us see the example of few people, a family. Gurpreet and Madhu and Tina were walking through a village where they saw a farmer tilling land. So three people, they were walking through the road, and mostly they are children. And when they were walking through the road, they saw a farmer was tilling his land, plowing his land. The farmer told them that he was growing wheat and had just added manure to the soil to make it more fertile. So the farmer explained to the children what he was doing. He said, I have put manure in this field so that the soil will become fertile and it will produce more. And he told the children that the wheat would fetch a good price in the mandi, from where it would be taken to factories to make bread and biscuits from flour. So the farmer explained to the children further that when the harvest is over, he will sell the wheat and he will get a good price. So people will come and buy his wheat and it will be taken to the factory, they will powder it, and that powder will be used again for making biscuits and so on. So there will be a good price for his products, that is the farmer is expecting. So he is putting manure so that he will be getting good harvest and he will be getting more money. That is his intention. So this transformation from a plant to a finished product involves three types of economic activities. These are primary, secondary and tertiary activities. So all the activities that we do on this earth, it can be divided into three categories, three groups. First one is called primary. So the first one is called primary. Second type is called, what is it called? Secondary. Third one is called tertiary. So all the activities that are done on this earth can be divided into three: primary activities, secondary activities and tertiary activities. So in the case of this farmer, we saw he is plowing, he is cultivating, he is putting the manure, he is tilling. All these will come under primary. So all the works that are done on this earth, that is called primary activities. That is the first stage to produce something. The first thing is that we have to do some work on this earth. So all types of cultivation, that will be primary. Then some people, they grow fish in the pond. So what kind of activity it will be? Growing fish. That is also primary activity, because the pond is in the land, you know, it is in the water. So all that activity, catching fish, growing fish, all that will be primary activities. Then drilling. Suppose there is some minerals are there under the earth. We have to drill deep and take it out. With the machine we have to drill and make a big hole, deep hole and take it out. The petroleum products, the gold, the iron, all these things are mined out. So that also the work is done on this land, therefore it will be called primary activities. So all the activities that is done on this, that will be called primary activity. I hope you understood. So the cultivation, the fishing, the mining, all these will be called primary activities. Now after this primary production, what will they do? For example, the case of this farmer, he is producing wheat. What will he do with that wheat? He will sell that wheat. So somebody will come and buy that wheat and they will take it to the factory and they will produce something. So that wheat is made use for producing something. What is he producing? He will powder it, then with that powder he will make biscuit. So it is brought, it is made biscuits. So that is called secondary product. So using the primary product, something else new is created. That is called secondary product. So in the factory he is making biscuits. He made the biscuits and keeping in the factory. Then what he needs to do? He needs somebody to carry this one from the factory and keep it in the shop or in the market and sell it. So he has to carry from here. So he needs facility of transportation. Vehicle is needed. So he needs vehicle and he needs somebody to sit in the shop and sell that biscuit, and all that will be called tertiary activities. So the service, carrying the things from here to the market is a service, transportation service. And people are selling that one, shopkeeper, that is a service. So here things are produced using the primary things, primary production or primary, what is things produced here in the primary sector, using that one. In the secondary sector new things are produced, and that what is used here or what is produced here is with the help of certain service which is given to the people, it is available to the people. That is called tertiary sector. That means in the tertiary sector we are not producing anything, we are only doing service. We are carrying things by vehicle, we are selling to others and so on. That is called service. So here all the activities that are done on the land, and here they are producing something using the primary things. Then after making these things, they need the service of others. So people are there to provide service, transportation service, banking service, or shopkeeper service, or shoe cobbler service, barber service. All those people who are doing different works, different services, they all will come under tertiary sector. So that is in nutshell what are the three types of activities that we have on this earth. So now let us see again a little more details. So primary activities include all those connected with extraction and production of natural resources. So we said primary activity means all the works that are done on this earth. So production and extraction of natural resources. So we said if there is some natural resources under the earth, we have to do the mining, then we have to extract it from under the earth. Then agriculture, fishing, gathering are good examples. So all these are examples of primary activities: agriculture, fishing and gathering. What about what is the meaning gathering? Suppose there is a mango tree and there is a strong wind and lot of mangoes are falling down. So you go and collect the mango from the ground. That is called gathering. What kind of activity it is? Primary activities. You are not plucking mango, you are not cultivating mango, but you are gathering from the ground. So that is also primary activity. Then secondary activities are concerned with the processing of these resources. So all the products of this primary sector is used in the factories to produce something else. It is processed to make something new. That is called secondary activities. And manufacturing of steel, baking of bread and weaving of cloth are examples of this activity. Tertiary activities provide support to the primary and secondary sectors through services. So what is the responsibility of this tertiary sector? Their responsibility is to provide service for primary sector and secondary sector. Just imagine if this tertiary sector service is not there, people who can give transport service is not there, then after the harvest, who will carry the wheat to their house or wheat to the factory to produce something more? They have to carry on their head, isn't it? So then that becomes a service. If there is a vehicle, then that becomes a service. If there is no vehicle, one person is willing to carry it on their heads, then that becomes a service. But that becomes a very slow service. But if there is a truck, then they can carry plenty and reach there within no time. So all these services are required in order to complete the task of production. And transport, trade, banking, insurance and advertising are examples of tertiary activities. So some of the examples of the tertiary activities are banking, transport, trade, insurance, all these services. So those who are working in the tertiary sector, they are not producing anything. They are only helping others. They are only providing services. So all the people who are working in the offices, they are all coming under tertiary sector. They are not producing anything. They are giving service. But people who are working in the primary sector, they are producing something. People who are working in the secondary sector, they are manufacturing something. And people who are working in the tertiary sector, they are giving service, or they are producing service. They are giving service to others. And agriculture is a prime activity, primary activity. It includes growing crops, fruits, vegetables, flowers and rearing of livestock. So even those who are growing the livestock, animals, chickens and cows or whatever animals they are growing, that also come under primary activity because that is done on this earth. So in the world, 50% of the persons are engaged in agricultural activity. So if you take the whole population of the world, how many? 50% of the people are doing agricultural work. That means half of the world's population is working on the land. They are doing primary activities. That's why we are able to have food. Otherwise, some of them are working only in the offices. They don't produce even a single vegetable or single grain, but they have food to eat because somebody else is working. 50% of the whole world's population is working. That's why there is enough food for us to eat. So we must be grateful to them that they are working hard from morning till evening, getting the hot sun and getting the rain and whatever may be the winter or summer, they are working. Therefore, the whole world has got food to eat. So it's a very important function. And if all those people say we also will go for doing office work, then there will be nobody to do the cultivation and the world will suffer from food scarcity. So thank God that we have 50% of the people are involved in the world to produce food items. And if you come to India, we have two-thirds of the people working in the agriculture sector or primary sector. In India it is two-thirds. Two-thirds are working in primary sector. What is the two-thirds? How many percentage? That you have to divide 100 by 3. How much it will come? So 1/3 means it will come 33.3. So 2/3 means some 66.6 percentage. 66.6% of the people. And in the whole world, only half of the people are working in the field. But in India, more than half. 66.6% of the population in India are working in agriculture sector. So that's why we call India is an agricultural country, because majority of the people in India are working in the field, in the farm. And favorable topography of soil and climate are vital for agricultural activity. Now, in order to do this agricultural activity, what are the things necessary? We should have a good climate. A very good climate should be there. Not too hot, not too cold, and not too dry. So there should be a moderate climate with a sufficient rain, with a sufficient sunshine, with a good soil, and so all these are important. So favorable topography of soil. So soil should be, topography means the top part of the soil. That should be favorable for cultivation. If it is on a hilltop, then it is not very favorable for cultivation. If it is a very deep valley, then that is not favorable because water will be stagnant there when it is raining. So a plain area, that is the most suitable place for cultivation. And so there, those who are cultivating, they will be able to get good harvest. And the land on which the crops are grown is known as arable land. So arable land, what meaning arable? The land that is suitable for cultivation, that is called arable. So some areas we know full of rocks, we cannot cultivate. Or some areas are like desert, there's no rain, only sand is there. That is not suitable for cultivation. So those lands are not arable land. But the land which is suitable for cultivation, that is called arable land. We can see in your globe, the whole world is shown there. And the areas that are colored with green color, you can see some of the areas it is colored with green. What is colored with blue is ocean or water, sea and so on. But the green colors are given there. That green color is the arable land. So we can imagine lot of area is white. In every country in the land, lot of areas are white. That is not arable land. But the green area, that is so little, and that is the arable land. So you can see India. In India, majority of the area is green. Therefore, the land in India, it is arable. Lot of land is there in India which is cultivable. We can grow agriculture. So, but in other countries you can see very few areas are there which can be cultivated. So Indian, we can say we are lucky that we have got a good soil, a good land, so that we can cultivate the crops and satisfy the hunger of the people. So, in the map you can see the agricultural activity concentrated in those regions of the world where suitable factors for the growing of crops exist. So that's what we saw so far, that all these green areas are suitable place, suitable soil for cultivation. Now there are different types of agricultures are there. So according to the product, they are called by different names. So it is given there, a chart is given there, you can see there different things are there and they are producing different things. Let's just look at the chart. So first one, agriculture. So what is agriculture? The science and art of cultivation on the soil, raising crops and rearing livestock. It is also called farming. So, what is agriculture? The science and art of cultivation on the soil. So, all kinds of cultivation, that is called agriculture in general. So, it is included raising of crops, that's paddy or wheat or whatever crop we are planting, cultivating, that is agriculture. And it is also called rearing of livestock. If you are growing animals, that is also under agriculture. Then it is another thing is called sericulture. What is meaning sericulture? Commercial rearing of silkworms, it is called sericulture. You know, we have silkworms, the growing of silkworms, and it is used for taking out the silk thread from these worms, and that is used for weaving clothes, making silk dresses. So that is getting from this city worms. So if you are growing these worms, silkworms, in a commercial manner for producing plenty of silk, then that is called sericulture. It may supplement the income of the farmer. So farmer can cultivate in some area, in other area he can buy some worms and grow there, and that will be an extra income for this farmer, additional income for this farmer growing of the city worms or silkworms. Then another one is pisciculture. Pisciculture. Pisci means somewhat similar to the word fish, is it not? So breeding of fish in specially constructed tanks and ponds. So if you want to get plenty of fish, small fish, that is called fingerlings. Okay, small fish. Nowadays we can see the cultivation season is going on, so people go and buy from the pond or from the agents fish, small fish, and they put in their paddy field so that it will grow, isn't it? So that small fishes are called fingerlings. So remember that name, small fish. The small fish, the baby fish is known as, what are they? They are known as fingerlings. So when you hear the name fingerlings, don't think about it is my finger. So fingerlings means small fish. Okay. So growing on, breeding of this fish, it is called pisciculture. Then viticulture. What is viticulture? Cultivation of grapes. Suppose you are growing grapes. Here in this region, most of you are cultivating fruits, kiwi fruits, isn't it? So instead of kiwi fruit, if you are cultivating grapes, then it will be called as viticulture. You are having viticulture. Then another thing is horticulture. Horticulture. What is horticulture? Growing of vegetables, flowers, fruits for commercial purpose. So if you are growing plenty of vegetables, not for your own purpose but for selling, for commercial purpose, or if you are growing flowers, flower also has got a very good market. People buy flowers in order to decorate the houses, decorate, especially when there is some function and so, like marriage and so, they need plenty of flowers, and therefore people cultivate flowers and sell it into the market. So if you are doing marketing, or if you are doing commercial cultivation of vegetables or flowers, then it is called horticulture. So remember different types of agriculture. Agriculture in general, cultivating anything on the land, including fish, growing of fish, that is called agriculture. Then sericulture means commercial rearing of silkworms. If you are rearing plenty of silkworms for the purpose of selling silk, then it is called sericulture. And if you are breeding fish for the commercial purpose, for the purpose of selling, then it is called pisciculture. And if you are cultivating grapes, it is known as viticulture. And if you are growing commercial purpose, the vegetables and the flowers and the fruits, then it will be known as horticulture. So remember these different divisions of the agriculture. I hope you have understood about the main purpose or main work in the primary sector, the different types of agricultural activities on this land. So since we are doing with agriculture, let us come to the farm system. What is the farm system in India, or how is it functioning and so on. So the farm, we said almost 66.6% of the people in India are farmers. They are cultivating on this earth. They are working on the land. So let us see how the farm system is working in India. So agriculture or farming can be looked at as a system. The important inputs are seeds, fertilizers, machinery and labor. So what are the things that we need? Inputs. Inputs means giving insight. We give some inputs, afterwards we get output. So in the computer and so you must have learned this terminology, input and output. So all the things that we are typing, that is input. We press the letters and on the screen the letters will come. All that we are giving input, and afterwards we can print it out. What is given, it will come out printed on the paper. That is called output. So in the same way in the farm also we have input and output. So what are the inputs? We have to put seeds inside. Then we have to put fertilizers inside. Then we have to use machines, tractors and other things. That is input. Then again there is labor. People have to work. Simply the seed will not fall from the sky there directly. Somebody has to clean the place, prepare the place, till the place, put the fertilizers, throw the seeds. All this labor also is needed. Lot of work also is needed. So all these are input. So after putting all this input there in the field or in the garden, what will we get? We will get the crops, that is output. At the time of harvest we will be getting back the grain. So some of the operations involved are plowing, sowing, irrigation, weeding and harvesting. The outputs from the system include crops, we get after the harvest crops we get, then we get wool. If you are rearing animals like sheep, you can cut the hair when it is long, you can use for making clothes. Or if you are rearing silkworms, we can get the silk from there. Or we can get dairy products. Dairy means milk, not the dairy that you use for writing. This is spelling is different. D-A-I-R-Y. That is dairy means milk. Another dairy which we use for writing is D-I-A. So here A and I they are interchanged. So here it is dairy, that is milk products. Then poultry. Poultry means from the birds like chicken and so we get eggs, egg or meat, that is called poultry products. So all these are output that we get. If you are buying egg and hatching it and giving the food for growing and so, at the end we get egg or meat, that is output. So these are some of the things that we get in our daily life. So we give input and we get back output. So not only in the factory also if you give input, we get back output. If you give wheat flour, wheat powder, then we mix with the sugar, water, all that are input. At the end we get back biscuits, sweet biscuits, that is output. So everywhere we give input, afterwards we get back output. So in the farm also that is the same thing. You can see there are a lot of pictures are also given there. All these are inputs. The machinery, tractor, then the seeds are there, chemicals are used, then plowing is used, then at the end we get back output. The crop is output. After harvesting we get the crops. Then the physical inputs you see. What are the physical inputs? We have the storage, or we have the labor, machinery, chemicals, all these things that is used as input. So people have to work. The fertilizer will not go and fall in the field by itself. We have to work. We have to go and throw it there. So the labor is required. So that is how the agriculture field it is working, especially in the primary sector. So we shall wind it up for today, and the next class we will learn about different types of farming. So we just said about farming today, and the next class we will study in detail about what are the different types of farming. So there are different farms, different types are there. One area people will be cultivating in one way, other places people will be cultivating in another way, and so the different types are there. We shall study in detail about that in the next class. So thank you, bye, see you in the next day.